Yo people, welcome back to another video. Now this time let's discuss John Cena's final match or final feud and essentially look at who is going to retire John Cena. I'll be going over who the likely candidates are, who the rumoured candidate is, and who I'd personally want it to be. Now remember, this is basically a John Cena L, so it's very important that they handle this properly and get it right, because this could create another star if done correctly, which is something that WWE is seriously lacking, especially because of Triple H and his creative team doing absolutely nothing. Let me know down below in the comments who you would pick to be John Cena's final match, as well as any suggestions you have for content, whether it's tier lists, ranking, and it doesn't have to be WWE, it can be Marvel, Star Wars, etc. I'd also appreciate if you could leave a like on the video, sub to the channel, as we are on the road to 2k subscribers, and let's get on with it. So as we know, John Cena's next opponent is actually Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, and for me, I do like Brock Lesnar, but it seems random. It definitely seems like some sort of money grab from TKO, from Triple H, and purely done for shock tactic, because Triple H has become insanely reliant on shock tactics to keep people distracted from how poor him and his creative team actually are at creating stories. Now, there were rumors flying about last week that one of the last matches John Cena was actually meant to have was AJ Styles, but it looks like WWE have pivoted and gone from having a guaranteed wrestling classic with AJ Styles versus John Cena onto Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Anyways, let's go over some of the candidates that could end up being John Cena's final match and why it makes sense. And the one that has been rumored the most is Gunther. Now Gunther, for me, it's a bit of a weird one because he doesn't necessarily need this to boost himself. However, it does make him look more serious and more of a threat than what he's been recently anyways, after what I'd say has been a pretty awfully booked year for Gunther. He spent most of his time fighting mid-card talents. He had the feud obviously with Jey Uso where he tapped out at WrestleMania 41. He had that irrelevant match against Pat McAfee for absolutely no reason. He retired Antique Goldberg, but for me this year has really damaged his image in my eyes. He is no longer that big threat, that guy who goes undefeated for long amounts of time. WWE doesn't seem to know how to use him if he isn't holding a championship. And because he's already been the final match for Goldberg, I don't really want him to be another wrestler's final match, especially when he doesn't have any hype at the moment. He's not even wrestling at the moment. He hasn't been seen since Summerslam. So I don't know, for me it would be a bit random and a bit forced. Personally, I don't think Gunther will ever have that star power to be the face of the company. He's a great heel, he's a great wrestler, but he's missing that it factor, unfortunately, that he just doesn't have. So for me, I just wouldn't want to see Gunther versus John Cena, although at least it would be a fresh match. Another option I've mentioned in this video already is AJ Styles. Now, there is still time to create this feud, but this match should have been at Clash in Paris, and if not, then it should have been for the WWE Championship while John Cena was holding it. But the only reason I say it shouldn't be AJ Styles as the last match is because this loss that Cena ends on is going to be used to push someone up the card or make them a verified star, and AJ Styles really doesn't need any of those things, especially when he himself is going out and retiring pretty soon. It would be more of a big name clash, but it doesn't necessarily help anyone in this case, so it would be pointless. I've seen some people say online that they'd want to see maybe Randy Orton or CM Punk, but I wouldn't want to see that because they've already faced John Cena this year. And it's actually crazy now that I'm thinking about it, that Logan Paul is the person that has had the joint most matches involving John Cena alongside Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, if you want to count the Elimination Chamber, which is just crazy for me that we actually wasted two of these unique situations for John Cena on someone like Logan Paul. But anyways, if it were up to Triple H 100% as to this decision of who faces John Cena, I'm guaranteeing you right now, he would probably make John Cena have a triple threat match against Logan Paul and Rhea Ripley. But anyways, let's get back to serious candidates. I've seen people say it should be Roman Reigns, but again, Roman doesn't need anything that happens from this match. He wouldn't gain anything from winning against John Cena, so it's just pointless. This position should be used to help others, help younger talent, and I'm sure John Cena himself is saying these exact words behind the scenes. Some would say, oh, maybe Jacob Fatu then if we can't get Roman Reigns. And to be honest, I don't think Jacob Fatu needs this. It would be a great match. It would be a unique match, one that hasn't happened before. but he's already very over, even though SmackDown is ruining everyone. Someone who I'd actually say needs it a bit more, and it's because of poor booking, is actually Drew McIntyre. And it wouldn't be a bad idea, as he's someone that I think could actually thrive off of this win and really establish himself as a main event talent with this match. And it's crazy I'm even having to say that, but Triple H just treats him like he's a mid-card talent. He never actually pushes him up and keeps him at the very top, which is ridiculous, especially with the way that guy carried the men's division in 2024, and he got absolutely no reward for it. Drew is actually someone that could keep annoying people as a heel by mentioning that he retired John Cena. He would actually thrive, and hopefully it would help him to actually be treated as a serious guy after the win. He, in my opinion, is a better heel than Gunther as well. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I'd prefer Drew McIntyre over Gunther. Next up is Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed, and I think this would be a big feat for either of them if they could retire John Cena, but honestly, I just don't think this whole vision thing is working, and either of them, they don't really deserve it if I'm being honest. It's a shame because age-wise, Braun Breaker is the perfect guy to face someone like John Cena and establish himself as a future star. But he's associated to this group and he's already been nerfed kind of heavily. He's been turned into this dog mascot thing with the neck twitch. So I don't know. I just don't like this idea. Bronson Reed would be atrocious if he's the one to do it because he's not actually won any gold. At least Braun Breaker, he's won, I don't know, I think it's 2 Intercontinental Championships. But either way, these guys long term can already become stars with Seth Rollins' group if they manage to turn this around. So I don't really think either of them needs it. And Seth Rollins is another one that it would be cool to see them run it back and do Seth Rollins versus John Cena, but I don't think it's going to be Seth Rollins. Now, I'm going to give you the 3 names that I'd like to see the most, and it involves the full package. So that would be what the win could do for the superstar, as well as the match itself being cool and something unique. In third place, I would like to see Carmelo Hayes versus John Cena, but the likelihood of this is probably like 1%, unfortunately. I think had Carmelo Hayes been booked properly throughout this whole year, then this would have been something really good, and it would be the obvious choice. Carmelo Hayes, he's still 31. He's great in the ring, he can hold it down on the mic, and I don't understand why he never gets a chance or ever gets given any time on SmackDown. This match would actually establish him in the main roster as a threat and really give him credibility moving forwards, because he has it all to be one of the company's top heels going forwards, and I don't get why Triple H doesn't give him a chance. He was literally Shawn Michaels' favorite guy in NXT, and that's still not enough to get any time on the main roster. And it's things like this which really makes you question if Triple H is just bad at his job or if those racism allegations have some truth to them. Moving on to second place, and this option is very risky, and because of that I don't think they'll do it, but I'd say Trick Williams versus John Cena. This would be a great entrance into the main roster for Trick Williams, who has been in NXT for way too long, to the point that they're handing him the TNA championship to just keep him in NXT floating around. And I think we can all agree that it's about time he makes his jump onto the main roster. He's a great heel, and again, like with Carmelo Hayes, he would really benefit from a match like this. It would be similar to when John Cena was doing his US title open challenge and Kevin Owens came out that one time. He really impressed everyone because of that opportunity, and then look how Kevin Owens' career benefited from having that one opportunity. Of course, this situation is slightly different because you have way more pressure. It's the last match for one of the GOATs of the whole company, so it will be a talking point for the rest of the company's history. I think Trick Williams or Carmelo Hayes would be great choices, and it would show intent of actually trying to build new stars in a risk-worthy way, which again is something that Triple H doesn't know how to do, which is why these 2 options are very, very, very unlikely. Last but not least, the match that I would want to see the most is Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena. Dominic already ticks all the boxes I've mentioned. Young talent that would thrive more with this win. He would push himself up the card in the process. One of the current top heels in the company, and has been for a while with the way he gets booed. But most importantly, why all of this would work so perfectly is because he is the current Intercontinental Champion. This automatically adds even more stakes to the match that most people cannot offer John Cena right now. And this is also the one title that John Cena needs in order to become a Grand Slam champion. Having Dominic Mysterio cheat John Cena out of the Intercontinental Championship in his last match would add insane levels of heat for Dominic Mysterio, and also if he was assisted by someone like Liv Morgan or someone else in the process, then they too would catch insane amount of heat, creating an almost kind of like a 2-in-1 push. So for me, it's a no-brainer that it should be Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena, and it just makes the most sense going forward. It will be interesting to see who Triple H ends up picking as his new kind of star guy, because ultimately, like I've been saying through this whole video, you will get a push from this match alone. So it'll be interesting to see who he picks, and let me know who you would like to see be the last person to face John Cena down below in the comments. Let me know any other thoughts you have and any other content you'd like to see on the channel. I'd appreciate if you could leave a like on the video, sub to the channel, and thank you for your time.